Awards, parades, and marches. Hi, I'm your host Heatwave, and in today's Law episode, I'll be covering the ranks, marches, awards, and any other music details of the Imperial Army. Tell me about this one. That's an onyx helix. You get that when you get wounded. There are 3 of them. I was wounded 3 times. I was a loader in a tank of the 56th Armored Company. A shell hit the gun mantlet and rattled forth tiny metal shards. I ducked, but I got one in the shoulder, one across the back of my neck, and this one down my snout. How were the other crew? Oh, I'm sorry, it's okay. Well, let's just say I didn't know what part belonged to Mintleaf and what part belonged to Rattlesnake. Welcome back to the Wings of Fire spin-off series Empire of Pareena. In this little episode, I'll be looking at some of the minor details of the Imperial Army, focusing on how they display themselves publicly, marching, and many of the medals, awards, and ribbons that are bestowed upon them. Apologies in advance if my voice sounds off. I'm suffering from some sandwing allergies here. I'll start with how the Imperial Army displays themselves on parade. Military parades are a proud Pareena tradition. It allows for the dragon population to interact with the military, and for the military to witness what their job represents, to uphold the sword, to protect life, kin, and land. The army will conduct a parade within the first city on special occasions, like celebration of unification, the hatching day of the current imperator, the changing of a new cycle or environmental season. After the War of the Red Sands, a celebratory parade was also held to commemorate the victory over the SSG. A parade required rotations to plan effectively. Law enforcers would close off streets and paths in preparation. Now, inductee have been drilled ever since they enlisted to march, and to march in parade formation. It's something that stays with an inductee for the rest of their life. Parade formation is also used during inspection and award ceremonies. For these parades, inductee wear a Pacific uniform. It's mostly their battle armor and bakama, but it's a requirement that the armor is clean and polished. That means no dirt or scuffs. Their bakamas must be well maintained and have no loose fibers. No field equipment is worn on parade, nor any non-standard issue kit, so no scrolls, bones, or trinkets are to be worn. In fact, the inductee themselves must have perfect physical hygiene. Their scales must be clean and scrubbed, their talons at an acceptable length, along with clean teeth. For parade formation, inductee will wear a special rig system. On the left side will sit a flowing cloth for pinning their awards and prestige, and the right side sits a mountable rack for the inductee to carry his las arm in marching formation over the shoulder. Marching in parade formation is actually simple, but also hard. Each inductee needs to be in unison when marching. Each talon step that they take is in line and orderly. A parade march will be conducted by the line battalion closest to or in garrison within the first city. Typically, one line battalion will march as needed. At the head of the march is the battalion headquarters, which will carry the line battalion's banner. This banner is typically hung within the Imperial Palace and is only used in ceremony. It's lavishly decorated, showing the great honor of the line battalion and inductee that came before it. Behind the HQ is the rifle companies. Their formation is the HQ at the front, with the platoons falling in behind. Next comes the armoured and artillery companies. The tanks on parade must be washed and polished stainless as well. Same goes for any towed artillery guns. After the primary companies, follow the support companies marching in their respective formations. When a parade takes place, it first assembles in front of the palace within the courtyard. They will then march down the main street of the first city, called Victory Way. It's said that Empress Ocean herself walked this path to battle once, so there's its significance. The parade will then march down this street. They will peel off at the city's entrance to head right and swing around the back of the Imperial Palace to drop off their equipment and tanks. These events typically only last from just after dawn to the sun's highest point, so midday. Let's talk a little about rank. Now, I've stated ranks before, and they've kind of been all over the place. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to quickly recap them now. The lowest rank a dragon can hold is inductii. This is the term used to identify all basic combat troops and soldiers of the Imperial Army. Everyone who has been in the Imperial Army would have started out as an inductii. Next is Sergeant. This is the first officer rank of the Imperial Army and is immediately we see the beginning trend of Imperial Army officers being marked, for instance, instead of wearing a helmet pike, they wear a metal plume over their head with a corresponding colour. For sergeants, they wear an olive plume. Sergeants are chosen not for their tactical sense, but rather charisma. Sergeants lead las rifle sections or gun troops. They are the ones who relay orders from the platoon leader down to the inductii. If the order is to take a gun pit, storm a trench, or lay down fire, it's the sergeant's responsibility to maintain his inductii's focus, courage, and zeal in battle. He tends to be charming enough to control his subordinates or encourage them to press on, even as the rage of battle fills them with dread or fear. Sergeants are chosen in basic training from those inductii who act as big wings, taking care of fellow inductii, holding them up and encouraging them. Above sergeants are lieutenants. Lieutenants are the first true officer class of the army and typically responsible for leading platoon-level formations. These officers are denoted by a blue plume. Lieutenants are the doers of the Imperial Army. They don't really deal with the logistic side of war, but rather are gifted orders from company command, and it's up to them to complete these objectives by using their inductii as an extension of their will. If the platoon is ordered to attack, well, it's the lieutenant's role to create effective battle plans, but also be flexible enough to change direction in any situation. Lieutenants are chosen early on in basic training from those inductii who show great tactical skill or insights, are put through a set of practice battles to demonstrate their skill. If successful, they will go on to become platoon leaders. Above our lieutenants are captains, marked by a red plume. Captains are company-level commanders and are simply lieutenants who have honed their skills over many cycles to earn this rank. Above captains are majors, marked by a yellow plume. Majors don't fit into the standard command structure, but rather are formation leaders, like, for example, battle groups. The final rank any inductii can achieve is that of the Battalion Lord Commander. Noted by a black plume with ornamental markings, these are the battalion commanders. For a dragon to achieve such a rank, it's a long and difficult path. They must prove their ability to command, strategize, and organize a lot of troops for combat. In times of war, one battalion Lord Commander will be named War Master. This title is appointed by the Imperator and gives the Lord Commander full control over the campaign, essentially becoming the overall military commander. Next, I'll discuss awards and prestige, better known among inductii as precious metals. Dragons like shiny things, so gifting soldiers with such shiny trinkets makes them feel good, like if you give a dragonette head pats for being good. Most of these awards were never issued until the end of the War of the Red Sands. The first basic award is a service stamp. These are small silver rectangular shapes that represent how long an inductee has served. They are awarded at 3, 6, 9, and 12 cycles of service, with anything beyond 12 cycles being replaced by a gilded silver stamp. The next prestige is a honorific. These awards praise inductee for their skill at arms. There is a fighter's honor for skill with claw-to-claw weapons and bayonets, a marksman honor for skill with las arm and small arms, gunnery honors for skill using heavy weapons like artillery guns, the Iron Wing, a honorific only given to tankers, and the Tactical Honor for skill in use of effective battlefield tactics. Next are the individual awards, the proper medals that are given out for great deeds complete. First is the Medallion of Fealty. This is awarded to an inductee who carried out the orders of a commanding officer to the exact letter and expectations of the officer. Next we have the Bastion, a rook-shaped silver pin that is awarded for holding ground in the face of overwhelming odds. Next is the Laurel of Command, a coloured coil of rope corresponding to an officer's rank and is only issued to officers. The Silver Chain, this chain is awarded to those inductee who have an unlikely number of actions in which they have served with distinction. The Onyx Helix, this award is given to inductee who have suffered one or more wounds at the talons of the enemy. One award that was introduced post-war was the Seal of Victory. This award was issued to every inductee who served during the War of the Red Sands. It commemorates the victory and those who gave their lives. The final award, and the highest award that can ever be bestowed upon a dragon of the Imperial Army, is the Winged Sword. This award is only given to an inductee who has shown great valor, courage, honor, and integrity. They have upheld the sword. This award is only given out by the Imperator. Now, something that's been asked is how the Imperial Army handles all its paperwork, books, and oversees its admin staff and acquires funding. Well, each headquarters section has its own admin clerks who handle action reports, supply notices, and requisition of ammunition, supply or reinforcements. But it's the Department of Military Affairs that is the true administrative body of the Army. This department is responsible for overseeing the paperwork such as Army movements, deployments, resource expenditure, and casualty numbers. The department is also responsible for organizing the line battalions, handing down their table of organization and equipment. If there is a change in the Army's composition, then it would have come from this department. The department is also responsible for funding the Army, their pay and funding the contracts that arm and armor the Army. Now, a little more about funding. So, the Department of Finance releases every cycle an imperial budget stating how much gold and silver the Empire has to fund many of its projects and sub-organizations. The Department of Military Affairs is awarded a sum of this budget that they must stay within. And as mentioned, they use this funding to grow, improve, and develop the Army. Now, a quick note. I've only got 2 more planned episodes for the Imperial Army before we move on to other topics within the Empire and abroad. So, if you'd like to see an aspect of the Imperial Army explained in a feature episode, then please leave a comment below. So, thanks for listening. Remember our channel goal, let's try and get to 50 subs. And this is Heatwave, signing off.